Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I thought I would share with you my top 10 tips for helping with anyone that is a hay fever sufferer. I have had hay fever all of my life. I find it hugely debilitating, but I found a few things that help and I thought I'd share them with you. So number one, there is a drug that I don't think many people know about. I have this drug prescribed, but it's just been released on the market, a slightly lower strength than what I take. So the drug is called fexofenadine. I take 180 milligrams, which is prescribed by the GP, but I know that they've just started releasing this drug in 120 milligrams. So dependent on whether you want to try the 120 milligrams or if you are a severe hay fever sufferer like myself, you might want to go to the GP and get this prescribed. I think the GP can prescribe the 120 milligrams as well. I have a prepayment certificate, so I can get as many prescriptions as I want. So for me, it's more beneficial to get it prescribed. I think the drug is around about £10, so it is slightly more expensive than a normal antihistamine, but I did mention it to a friend not that long ago who suffers with hay fever. She went out and purchased it and called it the miracle drug. She said that literally it had taken away all of her hay fever symptoms. I've been on this drug now for about 3 or 4 years, and what I find with myself is that my body becomes immune to things. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't work anymore for me, because I do think it does work, but I don't think it's as effective as what it used to be. That's just me personally. So that is number one. Number two, sleep with your windows shut. Now, I do this every night, never ever have windows open. If you have your windows open, then obviously you're allowing pollen in. Obviously in the summer months here in the UK, our weather's very up and down. At the moment it's quite warm, so I always sleep with the fan on because obviously I don't have a window open. Number three, a dehumidifier. So I bought one of these, I think about 2 years ago. I normally switch it on about 30 minutes to an hour before I go to bed, and that filter will kind of suck in any of the pollen. It will purify your air and obviously hopefully eliminate the majority of the pollen in the room, if not all of it. It definitely helps, and they're the one I've got isn't overly loud, so it's no different to a fan, maybe a little bit quieter than a fan. I'm a bit strange, I do kind of like white noise, so noise at night time doesn't actually bother me, but obviously if it did, I suppose you could switch it on before you go to bed and then switch it off. Number four, this is quite an obvious one, but don't allow pets in your room. Shut your door if you can, stop pets from sleeping on your bed. Pets are obviously outside a lot, especially cats, and bear in mind that their fur is collecting all of that pollen, they're then bringing it back into your home. So obviously if they sleep in your bed, they are rubbing all of that pollen onto your bed. And then number five, if stroking your pets, make sure you wash your hands afterwards, because obviously if you're stroking your pet and you have all of that pollen on your hands, then touch your face, you are then going to end up having a reaction to that, and you're just spreading the pollen over your nose, your eyes and your mouth, and that's not going to help at all. Number six, when in your car, obviously this is if you have aircon, but have aircon on. But the most important part is to press the button that circulates the air in the car. You do not want it to be circulating air from outside the car to in. Think about it, you're sucking in all of that pollen into your car. Yes, I know a lot of modern cars have pollen filters. How much they work, I don't know. Whereas if you are circulating the air that is just in the car, obviously you're going to be eliminating more pollen. And also, if you're sucking in the air from outside in, and it's a hot day, your air conditioning is having to work super hard to then cool that warm air from the outside. Whereas if you're circulating the air on the inside, then hopefully that should be more effective. Number 7. Okay, now with my hay fever, I get an itchy throat a lot. There's 2 things I do. This might sound a bit strange, but anything that has a rough texture like a biscuit or granola, I will put in my mouth and I will use to itch the roof of my throat. Roof of my mouth. Yes, that does sound very odd, but it does give some relief. Another thing that I've used is strepsils or some kind of equivalent. Suck on one of those and it temporarily numbs the mouth. Now obviously when we have itching in the throat, that normally isn't all of the time, so the strepsils are fantastic because obviously they would temporarily numb the itching, and that might give you relief for a couple of hours. Number 8, so eye drops. Now although I've suffered hay fever all of my life, it wasn't until maybe, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, a GP explained to me that eye drops aren't just for using when your eyes are itchy. They are for using at different periods of the day, and the idea is it's also preventative. So first thing in the morning, I always put eye drops in my eyes. This is fantastic because I'm putting them in before the itching, so it tends to help and stop the itching. But I was always under the assumption that you just use them as and when needed, which I still do, but definitely try and put them in 3 times a day, morning, lunchtime and afternoon, so you've kind of like got a build up of that medicine in your eyes. Sticking with the eyes, number 9, use the they're like eye gel masks that you can actually put in the freezer or the fridge. They've kind of like got beads in them, and when you put them in the fridge or the freezer, obviously they go really cold. Now in hay fever season, obviously your eyes feel really itchy, watery, and mine actually swell. So underneath here, I mean, it's still quite like it now, I tend to have a lot of puffiness. These gel cool packs are fantastic for your eyes. Obviously if you didn't want to spend money on that, you could use things like cucumber, maybe like a soft ice pack, something like that you could put on your eyes. I wouldn't put ice blocks, only because they might end up getting stuck to your eyes, and obviously they are rock solid, so they're not going to like mold to your eye. But yeah, they are fantastic for reducing the puffiness and also helping, I suppose, with the itchiness and all those sorts of things as well. Now, number 10, not a lot of people may actually know about this, and I only learned about this a few years ago, but there are fruits that are pollinating fruits. So those fruits absorb the pollen, and then you then have fruits that end up containing histamine, which then obviously that adds to your hay fever. Now this can also be not even hay fever season, so there are a few fruits that I can't eat. So the only melon I can eat is watermelon. All other fruits cause a reaction really quickly in my mouth. The roof of my mouth itches. It feels like it swells inside, but it doesn't. It's not, like restricting my airways or anything like that. It just feels swollen. It's mainly the itching. Just trying to think. Lychees I can't eat, have a really bad reaction to lychees. And similarly, my son has reactions to the same fruits as me. He, I would say, actually has a worse reaction to me. He will sometimes get redness around his mouth, kind of like almost like a ring. So we obviously try and avoid these fruits. I don't actually have a list of all the fruits to hand, but if you just Google pollinating fruits, it will straight away bring up a list. Now, for many, many years, I would eat these fruits and have this reaction and have absolutely no clue why my mouth was itching. I just thought I was allergic, which obviously it is an allergic reaction. But when I did some research, I then found out it is to do with having hay fever. And these fruits obviously containing the histamine. So yes, definitely try and avoid those fruits if possible, and let me know in the comments section if you have ever experienced that and not actually known what it is. So really hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope that it's been beneficial to some of you. Take care everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.